Even gezien?
Asire varanahede.
Me voldtocht en gehedvin. Me vertruv het een bellengrek.
Visse dein it kiezeret. Net en verbtene. Het en krisa. Do you know what this is?
I know.
Who it is?
Triss Marigold. Until recently advisor to King Foltest. Artifact compression. A complicated spell.
Is she alive?
Her life processes are on hold. But it is reversible. Though, very difficult.
You created a portal between Loch Muin and Nilfgaard. You should manage the figurine.
Stand back. I cannot be sure how her body will react to decompression.
No pentagrams, candles, spilt blood.
It figures you'd know little about magic, Ambassador. It matters not.
We need her alive, Asira. Make sure her body survives decompression well.
I'll do what I can. But she will be disoriented for some time. What is your name? Oh! Tell me your name. Triss!
Vise getocht gedein. Vise espet ep wovret. Dartocht et nedling derir. Mehen eveneens ep turin. Me pöft en alverdeg. Marigold. Your name is Triss Marigold.
I recognize this valley. This path leads to the city gate.
Guess they never learned.
Almost there.
Knights of the Flaming Rose at a peace summit.
I wonder whose side they're on.
On that of whoever paid them.
You shouldn't let them see you.
I know. To them, a good elf is a dead elf.
It's not because you're an elf. It's because you're iorveth.
I'll try to enter the city through the caves. I'd advise you to do the same.
The knights will know I'm wanted. You know of a passage?
I know of a cave nearby. There are many ways to enter Loch Muin, my friend.
If Radovid has summoned the Order, I'm certain the others have brought their armies as well.
The city must be full of soldiers. All of them sitting as if on a witch's bomb, waiting for a spark. But that may be to our advantage. If the rulers have holed themselves up in camps, it should be easy to move about between them.
Let's go before we get noticed. I want to see Radovid,
And who might you be?
Geralt of Rivia.
Murderer of kings! Get him! Eternal fire!
Good you're here. Look what I found.
Keep your distance.
Good you're here. Look what I found.
Keep your distance.
Already forgotten that a similar creature hung around my head. the fringes somewhere.
Let's go.
They gagged Philippa in the nick of time. She almost cast a spell, rotting in the Redanian dungeon now in special shackles.
Radovid's right to show the witches their place.
I wonder what they'll do to her. Either the executioner or the monsters will have their fun. They say Logmuin's dungeons are full of scum of all kinds.
No idea what they locked her up for, but every sorceress is guilty of something.
True enough. Not likely to see anyone weeping for her.
A dungeon befits Philippa Eilhart very well, though gallows would be even better.
If they kill her, you can forget about healing Saskia.
They must guard her as heavily as the Emperor's bedchamber. We'll not get in there.
I'm in no hurry to visit the Emperor's bedchamber, but we've got to get into the dungeon.
Look for a passage through the sewers. I'll locate Eilhart's quarters. If she didn't expect to be arrested, I may find something interesting there.
I can think of a quicker way into the dungeon than the sewers. I just need to get arrested.
They'll take your weapons and put you in shackles, though there is some chance you'll wind up in Philippa's cell.
I'll manage. Wandering through the tunnels would take too much time.
Let's go then.
I'll find Philippa. You search her quarters.
Right. We learned a lot the last time we browsed through her things. Va fail, Gwynblade.
don't believe you killed Foltest.
I didn't.
But a bounty is a bounty. I'm sure you understand. As a...
Onward! Into the bounty! Hey!
Now you tell me. I don't work with sorceresses. This is no job for me.
What's going on? Are you about to fight?
The Conclave has forbidden dueling.
You can't just back out. We agreed. We have commitments to fulfill.
You did take an advance on your fee.
And I'm keeping it. Don't you follow me.
Witcher Geralt, a sight for sore eyes you are. May we speak?
Didn't expect to see you again. Certainly not here.
Loch Muin is an intriguing place.
For scientists especially.
We've mounted a small expedition and require protection.
Sounds like regular Witcher's work to me. It'll cost you.
We never imagined otherwise. Our employer spares no expense on scientific undertakings. You may expect a handsome fee.
After you complete the task.
I'll need an advance.
We'd prefer to pay a lump sum at the end.
You're offering me a dangerous job. The kind you pay for, partly in advance. Is that clear?
Calm yourself, please. We'll pay you out of our own pocket.
But we don't have much.
The sorceress is sure to reimburse us once we find dear Henna's laboratory.
I don't have much time. Let me hear some details.
The sorceress will reveal everything. We're on our way to meet her. I can only say it concerns dear Henna.
His laboratory, to be precise. Dear Henna is dead.
What was dear Henna doing in this city?
Everyone's heard of his 1,000 genie curse, but few know that he also had a penchant for the history of Loch Muin. He was particularly interested in the Vrans and their ultimate decline as a civilization. In his memoirs, he mentions that he left his archive here. That's how we pinpointed the location of his laboratory.
You did?
The sorceress did, in point of fact.
But we're the ones who know everything about dear Henna.
I wrote my dissertation about the man. To arrive at the laboratory, we must pass through the sewers.
Tell you what, I'll catch up to you when I'm ready to go.
But we gave you coin.
I didn't say I'm not gonna do it. I just need to think.
We trust you're nothing like that fraud. We'll await you in the Crypt of Mages beneath that tower.
We've broken through in the right spot.
Quiet. Stand ready. He killed Vanamar.
And many other mages. I know who he is, Cynthia.
In the same city as Philippa, and you didn't even bother to change your name. That takes balls.
Philippa's out of the picture. She's been arrested.
And I was supposed to die, but I didn't. Grave error.
I'll make you a deal.
Any deals we make will not be on your terms.
Hear me out.
So be it.
Witcher, help me complete my mission. Help me open Der Henna's laboratory.
What'll you give me?
I've read the intelligence reports. I know your past. There are things in there, important things you don't remember.
I could force you to tell me.
I don't think so. Will you torture me? We both know you couldn't.
Fine. I'll help you open the laboratory.
In exchange, I'll tell you all I can. Do we have a deal?
Yeah. One more thing.
We made a deal.
I'm even faster with my sword. No tricks.
Are we likely to encounter drowners? Or a related species? Perhaps other monsters?
That is how this world's built. Sewers are infested with monsters.
Ghouls?
No,
I'm impressed.
I've kept my end of the bargain.
Be sure.
No rats are running around sewers. What we're looking for, anyway? Some graves, I heard.
Graves? So maybe there is something in this forest.
Shut your traps. Want the sergeant to hear? We've been deep shite. But it is a good idea.
We've got company.
Redanian bastards.
The entrance must be somewhere here.
If our experts are to be trusted.
Der Henna dabbled in illusions, among other things.
He also experimented heavily with golems.
Golems with the power of speech, supposedly. They knew nothing of poetry, but...
Will you two shut up?
Yes, it's an illusion. I found a weak spot. Stand back. Later Elorn, Lisa Elorn, later dear!
That was the first time I saw a witcher in action.
At times I'm caught. You can get my kind of feat. Though I have no needles, they say I am piercing. What am I?
Careful with the answer. It could be a trap.
Typical of Der Henna. He was a genius with a penchant for mischievous jokes, like a child.
So a couple of adults, purported experts, should have no problem solving this.
Indeed, it's trivial. The answer is pain.
Incorrect.
No! Impossible! So many years
We must
have
go on.
researched. Imagine the books, the potions.
Let's get this over with quickly.
Capable of kindness and cruelty, I take victims when I sour. I can be on your side or wrong you. I bring gifts, though you already have me.
Fate.
Correct.
It's going rather well so far.
Not for everybody. Someone's been here recently.
Well, well, the competition's here. Kill them!
They must have descended straight from their quarter.
Let a Nordling.
Another guardian. Later and Lorn. Lisa and Lorn. Later, dear! It's reacting to my spell.
A group of travelers wandering through the dark. 3 guides above them, so 3 were marked. At night they trailed a drake serpentine and a silver lady shining and fine. If only her visage she would deign to unfold. By day they followed a mountain vault, its riches untold.
Did I hear someone complain about the riddles being too easy?
Let's think this through. There are 9 alcoves, a fresco in each. That's 3 groups of 3 frescoes.
The riddle mentions 3 guides above the travelers. We must examine the frescoes, seek answers there.
I'll advise you about the riddle, but I will not take part in disarming the device. I've got a bad feeling about this.
Wandering through the... At night they trailed a drake serpentine and a
What do you think of the first?
I would say it describes a serpentine dragon swallowing its own tail, which represents infinity and thus time. The hourglass likewise symbolizes time. In this case, the time of the traveler's journey.
I believe it's the dragon constellation. It would be visible at night. What's more, sources on alchemy invariably portray dragons as winged, and as an accomplished alchemist, Gehenna would also be a competent astrologer. The verse must refer to the constellation.
In alchemy, the winged serpentine dragon represents prime matter, an essential component in the process of alchemical transformation. The verse seems to indicate the allegory illustrating that transformation.
It should be the dragon constellation.
I shall take that one.
What do you think of the second verse?
To my mind, it speaks of the white rose, symbol of the Order of the Flaming Rose. You see, the fresco itself resembles a coat of arms, and in heraldry silver is rendered as white. So the Silver Lady and White Rose are one and the same.
I think it describes the full moon. In alchemy, the moon represents both silver as a metal and the feminine element.
The order remains largely unknown in the south, so the White Rose seems unlikely. Every Nilfgaardian, on the other hand, has heard of the Imperial Nausicaa Brigade, which has the Death's Head as its symbol. The brigade's name is female, and they say death follows a unit. So the Silver Lady could very well be Nausicaa or the Death's Head.
I think it's the full moon.
Allow me.
What do you say to the third verse?
It describes the precipice, the ravine amidst mountains. An ancient rule in alchemy states, as above, so below. The vault is the ravine into which the riches of the mountain flow.
We must read the third line literally. To me, it suggests the Mahakam Mountains and its mines, from which dwarves and gnomes extract many ores that are invaluable to alchemists. Those mountains are a vault in and of themselves.
The verse is not literal. In many legends, towers are in fact vaults, which the hero must penetrate in order to rescue an imprisoned princess or find a long-concealed magic item. The mountain vault is the tower.
Can someone remind me how the line was worded?
The third fragment mentioned a mountain vault containing untold riches.
The mine entrance in the mountainside. That seems logical. I'll stand next to that fresco. Let's see if we can solve this. Take your places.
Count me out. I want to live.
As you will.
Another combination.
A group of...
I shall take that.
A group of... A group of...
I'll stand. Let's take
count
us.
We must try another combination.
Us.
Intruder detected.
No!
Our expedition has grown thin. Such a shame. I actually found those two amusing.
A golem? So Darehenna's legend is true?
It is no more than an obedient machine created to follow orders and kill. Not unlike our Witcher.
so I guess we should get along famously.
You? What do you know about golems?
I don't run into them in every forest, but any good bestiary describes golems at length, and I've read more than my share of those.
Geralt, I'm not questioning your knowledge, but I should be the one to...
Actually, you are questioning my knowledge. Listen, I know what I'm doing. I'll try to get it to reveal the word that'll deactivate it, or I'll just mess with its head. Break the code.
So now we've got a burglar in our midst. Be my guest. Try.
My intentions are good.
As are mine. Know, however, that this may change.
Derhana must have been pretty lonely if he gave you eloquence.
The Master made me a guardian. Nothing less, nothing more. And you, provided you stand there, are a guest.
Did your creator give you a name?
I'm called obedience and unyielding persistence. I am a guardian and the humblest of servants.
A golem's name is the word that gave it life, and that can take it away. You must have a name.
I own nothing. Everything belongs to my master. How could I divulge the name if I exist solely to protect my creator's property?
So you're aware you're an automaton?
Do we really know who we are, where we came from, and where we are headed? Is human life predictable in that the cycle of birth and death ensnares it, better than mine? When a human is born, he is obedient to his parents. Later he listens to tutors, masters, corporals. Finally, he succumbs to the will of death.
And to think that Adalbert questioned Derhana's mastery. Who, if anyone, is allowed to pass?
Derhana, but he is dead. Also guests may pass, but I stop intruders.
Tell me more. Who's a guest and who's an intruder?
Is it not obvious? A guest keeps his distance, or knows the name word. An intruder is anyone who enters too far, attacks me, or otherwise interferes with my being.
Has anyone tried to enter before?
I recall no intruders. I do, however, remember guests who left after being warned.
When was that? What did you discuss?
I am a machine. My memory is limited.
You are far more self-aware than a typical golem. Can you make sovereign decisions?
The Master made me the way I am, because long discussions were to his liking. I can make decisions, within my program, of course.
So you decide who's a guest and who's an intruder?
Who else would? Guests chat innocuously, exerting no pressure. All others are intruders.
I have other questions. Do you remember your creator?
Of course. I was summoned into being by Master Derhana. I abide by his will, by his power, by the necessity encased in my stone bowels.
Derhana is dead.
His word, which animates me, lives on, as does his legacy, which I protect. Empires will rise and fall, rivers will shift their courses, but I will remain obedient to one master on my eternal watch.
Derhana must have been an exceptional man. Can you tell me about him?
I guard everything that belonged to the Master, including his privacy, which he valued highly. I can tell you nothing.
Can I ask you for the name word which brought you to life and which can deactivate you?
Do that, and I shall consider you an intruder.
I have other questions. Powerful magic created you. Derhana was a true master.
He is still, since his mastery survives.
As a conscious being, you must be lonely here.
You are wrong. The pain of the world, melancholy, lies within the domain of emotions and feelings. My thoughts are governed by pure logic, restricted by my program.
But you can learn. They say that a penchant for philosophy can only come from curiosity.
In my case, it comes from the will of the Master, who liked to speak with me.
And do you feel a need to discuss?
I feel nothing. I just have that need.
Can we discuss the program that controls your behavior?
Of course not.
I have other questions. All right, I think I know how to get past this thing without a fight.
Burglar witchers, philosopher golems, an expedition replete with fascinating discoveries.
And terrible disappointments. Shut up, Adelbear. And you, Witcher, deal with that golem.
We know you exist by the will of your master, thanks to the name word he gave you.
That is true.
You were created to discern intruders from guests. You are to stop the former and greet the latter.
Intruders must be stopped.
Are you aware that intruders may seek to deceive you?
I have stone fists to defend myself against those armed with swords. I have my iron logic to defend against those armed with words.
But intruders could include sorcerers who alter reality. They could be illusionists or mere liars. What then is certain?
My existence is certain, as is my master's will.
Since only you and the Master's legacy exist for certain, everything else is doubtful. A malicious intruder could cloud your senses.
I am the Guardian. The Master prepared me for that.
He couldn't foresee everything, so he gave you a mind to compensate. You're much more conscious and intelligent than a Guardian needs to be. Your Master says, greet guests and stop intruders. That is certain, but everything else can be a lie. And you cannot allow yourself to attack guests. That would be against your master's will.
Guests must be greeted, and intruders must be stopped. This is Derhana's will. Are you a guest or an intruder?
Doesn't matter what I answer. Your senses deceive you. You can trust only your mind. You can't assume I'm a guest, because I may be an intruder. You can't assume I'm an intruder, because I may be a guest.
This is a contradiction, a paradox. The law of excluded middle.
We've done it. We've penetrated Derhana's laboratory.
Let's have a look. This is better than I'd hoped.
A great success for Nilfgaard, this mission.
Maybe you'll get that promotion.
There are those notes about the city's history. Derhana mentions some bacteria strains.
Can you feel that?
My medallion's vibrating.
Another masking illusion. I'll try to disperse it. Later, Elorn. Lisa Elorn. Later, dear!
The device. What is it?
You've done your job. You'll be paid and...
Paid like the scholars were? They died once they were no longer useful.
They were never useful, but Cynthia insisted. Fortunately, they were so kind as to remove themselves without my help.
I'm not about to be that kind.
Adalbert, you know what you're to look for.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a prototype megascope. I didn't know it had survived.
What's it do?
The artifact detects an emotional bond with a person. Its user need only focus on that person and the device will establish a connection.
Great tool for a spy.
Yes.
Time you fulfilled your end of the bargain. What do you know about my past?
You were a rider of the Wild Hunt. I read the reports.
Don't the Nilfgaardians have anything better to do than write reports about witchers?
Not about witchers. About you. You are the sole person to have been a member of the host, and survived.
I'd like to try out the device.
You realize that can only end badly.
Cut in again and I'll put you in my report. You may use it, but just once.
Giving state secrets away to a Nordling. Will you mention that in your report?
You're sure to be named a commander one day, Adalbert. But until that happens, be a good boy and do your job.
Article 22 of the Code is clear. Suspicion of treason is sufficient grounds to strip a commander of power. Article 1 of my personal code is equally clear. Traitors must be subjected to the most painful death possible.
Multiplication. Second year at the academy, all mages learn it.
I didn't expect you to take my side.
Well, now choose one person you wish to contact. After that, the artifact's mine.
Nilfgaardian agents get quartered for lying in reports. What does the Empire do to agents who kill their colleagues?
Nothing. As long as no one finds out.
Will we meet again?
I wouldn't mind at all. Look for me at the inn.
Is there anything to prove I was part of the Wild Hunt?
Nothing. Apart from the fact that Nilfgaardian intelligence agents are drawn and quartered for lying in their reports.
An enlightened nation indeed.
You haven't the faintest notion how many people are interested in you. Very important people.
Just because I survived?
You're a former rider of the hunt, and you live. You may be the key to solving the mystery of the retinue, and they all know that. You must watch out for yourself.
How do you know I knew Letho?
I've read...
The reports, I know. Why are you warning me about him?
Because I like you.
Let's...
Well then, consider me glad to have satisfied a witcher, whatever the way.
I'd appreciate it if you didn't eavesdrop while I eavesdropped.
I shan't trouble you. I have a lot of work to do here.
I made sure we'd have a trustworthy cook while in Lochmuin. I'll not allow anyone to slip poison into your goblet here.
I cannot sit here and eat in peace while Philippa rots in a dungeon.
Regardless of Philippa's whereabouts and predicament, you must behave as befits a queen.
Does that rule out caring for my friends?
Philippa will manage. And even should she fail, I'm sure her final wish would be that we follow through with the plan. So eat. You must be at full strength during the summit. A very important task awaits you.
I hope you learned something useful.
I'm just sorry I can't use the artifact a few more times.
Its power has been depleted.
I understand. Thanks anyway. Procedure manual.
At your service. We need to talk.
Of course.
That was an interesting adventure, Cynthia.
Yes. People bond over experiences like that.
Yeah, kinda makes you wonder what happened back in Vergen. Did you get your promotion?
Not yet. But His Imperial Majesty rewards dedication.
Can he discern the truth from lies?
What do you mean?
I take it the Emperor has no idea his sorceress helped a mutant kill a Nilfgaardian mage.
It was a dangerous expedition. Casualties were inevitable. He'll content himself with that.
Got time to talk? Or are you off on another dangerous mission?
Even we Nilfgaardian agents rest sometimes.
I'm finding it hard to believe anything you say.
Did you come here to insult me?
No. Sorry.
What exactly do you want?
I was curious. I wanted to see which Cynthia I'd meet this time. The spy, the sorceress, or maybe the woman.
Which were you hoping to meet?
The real one.
Let's assume you're speaking to her. How do you like her?
Let's say I like her quite a bit.
Compliments are clearly not your forte.
I just told you why I've come. Care to tell me why you invited me?
Let's say I was interested to see which Geralt would show up.
And? The minstrels got it right. Women of the South are both passionate and clever.
I like to improvise.
Yeah, I noticed. Farewell, Cynthia.
Verfail. That
was an interesting adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found some of Derhenna's notes. He studied the history of the Vrans, right?
Among other things.
He makes several mentions of an epidemic.
Loch Muin conceals many more secrets than we imagined. I doubt we'll ever know all of them.
Well, if Derhenna's to be trusted, the epidemic had something to do with the Enshe. Maybe the Vrans caught the disease from the elves.
I'm no expert on diseases, Witcher. Who knows? Perhaps Derhenna was right, and the decline of Vrani civilization was much darker and more sudden than we thought.
Used the artifact yet?
I'm working on improving it. I think it'll be useful one day.
You knew what we'd find in that laboratory.
Come again?
You wanted the bacteria strains that killed the Vrans, or more precisely, Derhenna's notes from his research into them.
This is very dangerous knowledge.
I suspect that's exactly why the Emperor is so interested.
The North is in chaos. An epidemic is the last thing you need. And one could break out if Derhenna's book fell into the wrong hands.
Fortunately, it's now in the right hands. In Emir's civilized and manicured hands.
Precisely.
Your Majesty.
I've waited long for this meeting. You left Redania so suddenly I had no chance to give you the send-off you so richly deserved.
Your Majesty, I fail to understand why I have been arrested. I've done nothing but serve Redania's interests, supporting the rebellion, undermining Henselt, risking my own reputation on your behalf.
I'm no longer the little boy who believed your every word.
Why do you do this, Radovid? I was there at your most trying hours. Without me, you would not be the man you are. I don't understand.
You understand very well. You conspired against my father Vizimir, and against me. The entire Redanian court once trembled in fear of Philippa Eilhart.
Untrue, sire. You must let me explain. What are your charges, your majesty?
Ambassador.
Triss Marigold was kind enough to compile a list of persons making up the secret society known as the Lodge of Sorceresses. Some Nilfgaardian sorceresses were members as well, but you need not be bothered with them, my lady.
Triss, you're mad!
The Lodge ordered Demaven killed. It ordered Foltest killed. I suspect you played a part in my father's death. And if I released you from the Dimeritium, you'd kill me too. You're finished, Eilhart. There will be a trial, due process, everything as it should be. But know that you shall not wriggle out of this. You shall be convicted of conspiracy, treason, and regicide. They'll rip your flesh from you in bits before they burn you at the stake. Throughout my childhood, I felt your cold stare on the back of my neck. When I issued orders, my subjects would search with their eyes for Philippa Eilhart's gesture of consent. The entire court at Traitor looked on as you humiliated me. All Redania laughed behind my back. You taught me to look everyone in the eye. Forced them to lower their gaze, do you remember? A king must never show weakness, uncertainty, you said. I've mastered that skill. Yet there is one I could never force to submit. You. You've one chance to shorten your suffering. Admit to everything, here and now in the ambassador's presence. Look me in the eye and repent. Submit. As you wish. Torturer, put out those vile eyes.
You're making a grave error, sire.
We will talk again, witch.
The Philippa Eilhart problem has been resolved. We must return to camp.
Wait here, Excellency. Intruder! Get him!
Easy to find.
Look what they did to me. Radovid. To think I taught him magic tricks when he was just a boy. Free me, Geralt. I have to get out of here. Do you hear me? Help me!
You'll answer a few questions first. Where's Saskia?
When I was arrested, she was with Sheila. They must be on their way to the deliberations by now.
How does the spell work?
Saskia's will and mine are one. She cannot resist me. But fear not. There's no suffering involved. She merely believes me to be the most wonderful person in the world. As if she were in love. You know what's most beautiful? In spite of all this, she seems unchanged. She's retained her charm, her valor, her honor.
I didn't track you alone. Iorveth can't wait to see you again.
My death would change little. Iorveth and all like him have no right to judge others.
Was Schiller telling the truth about the Lodge, the assassinations?
He said exactly what Radovid wanted to hear. Half-truths, musings stripped of context, which differ very little from lies.
Did Triss take part in all this?
She's clean in those terms. Innocent as a child, but only to a point. I assure you, she has not been honest with you about many other matters.
Why did all this happen? Murdering monarchs, what interests did it serve? I can't fathom.
Help me get out of here and I'll explain all and lift the spell from Saskia. Take these shackles off me and lead me to my house. I beg you. I'll tell you everything. Everything.
Clock's ticking. Time is of the essence.
Why do you do this? Would you take vengeance on a blind woman?
Shillard said they've got Triss. I have to free her before they put out her eyes too.
Going to the Nilfgaardian camp is suicide.
And leaving a friend is villainy.
Only I know how to break the spell that holds Saskia. Get me out of here. If I die, she'll remain forever spellbound.
All right, but if you're lying to me...
Unbind me and lead the way. We must return through the sewers.
The shackles stay on, and you'll go first.
Shillard will raise the alarm.
No, he won't. We'll be long gone by the time he comes to.
Kill him.
I'm not into murdering unconscious old men. Lead on. No tricks, Phil.
I want to get out of here, and I want to live.
I believe that. Can you walk? Sure you won't faint on me?
I'll manage. Will you remove my shackles?
The manacles stay on.
Vergen, game. Who did this to her?
It was Radovid's way of thanking her for the care she provided him when he was a child.
I saw him with his army on his way to the talks, whistling a tune.
Get me out of here!
Shut up, witch! You're alive only because you're still needed.
Philippa's promised to help us in exchange for her freedom.
And you believe her?
Know a better way to free Saskia? What state is Saskia in now?
I've ordered her to carry out Sheila's bidding until I return.
Great. And Sheila will be at the talks?
Yes. She's probably there already, making certain the Lodge's plans do not fall through.
How do we free Saskia?
I have charmed a dagger with a counterspell. You must thrust it into the she-dragon's heart.
You mean your heart, witch? Do you mock us?
There is no other way. She must be struck with surgical precision, otherwise the counterspell won't work. All the blade's runes must touch blood, and its point must pierce a chamber of her heart.
We'll need to hold her down somehow.
Hold down a dragon? This is ridiculous. She's lying, Geralt. I don't trust her. Why would she even need this dagger? In a minute we'll hear that she planned to free Saskia herself.
Any time you cast a spell or a curse, you must have a counterspell at the ready. It's a basic rule of magic. I prepared the dagger just before I cast the spell, in case anything went awry.
A basic rule, but I don't know many mages who follow it. Where's the dagger?
My quarters. In Geoffrey Monk's former home, inside a well-secured chest.
I know the house.
Iorveth, know any way to get to Philippa's quarters unnoticed?
Through this sewer. We may encounter monsters, but we'll gain a lot of time.
Keep an eye on her. I'll go ahead.
There's something
Damsel in distress.
free.
None. If your dagger fails to work, or Saskia perishes from the blow, you'll be next. Be assured. This place looks just like the past.
This pace.
The sooner you give us the dagger, the sooner you can lick your wounds, bitch.
Geralt, you'd best check the room before we enter. I don't like this.
Neither do I.
I don't like this.
Neither do I.
Unshackle me. Remove the dimeritium. I can help you.
Shut up!
Is this the chest?
Describe it.
It's heavy, covered in runes. There's a circle and candles on the floor.
Yes, the very chest in which Geoffrey Monk kept his most valuable treasures. The dagger's inside.
How do we bloody open it?
The candles must be lit in a specific order. I figured it out. My notes are downstairs. After that, a simple spell will suffice. Remove my shackles.
Geralt, do you know this ritual?
Only a mage can perform it.
Shut up!
I need to look at the notes first. After I light the candles, we'll remove the dimeritium, and you'll open the chest. Happening.
My notes are clear.
Try again.
Now unshackle me. I'll open the chest with a spell.
Neither of us can utter it.
It's not something you learn in a moment. A trained mage is needed to cast spells. The candles are lit. We need to hurry. Do as I say before I lose consciousness.
Try anything clever and you will die.
You can lift the spell binding her, but she'll never be human.
She's more than a dwarf. Someone who restored hope to the Enche.
She's a monster. If you think she can rule a realm of humans and elves herself...
Face it, Devian!
You'll suffer the consequences of your foolishness.
Look out, Geralt! Ah! Look out! Amazing fight, Gwynblade! Get the dagger and let's get out of here!
Let's hope this blade will do the trick.
A strange weapon. Never seen anything like it. I hope it works. Too bad Eilhart won't tell us anything more.
Time to join the talks.
I'll go ahead and see what we can expect.
In a hurry to see the deliberations?
Here on urgent business.
Your dress seems to confirm it. Excuse you indeed. I suppose I couldn't much care. I've heard what I came to hear.
And what, pray tell, was that?
The rightful heir will ascend to the Eternian throne. There will be peace in the land. What more could one want?
Prince Stennis is here?
King Stennis. Crowned 2 days past in Vengerberg. Merely send a messenger here. All those present promptly agreed that he will make a good ruler.
Prince Stennis. A poisoner, coward, and schemer. He trembled with disgust when he spoke to the peasants. Disdain flowed from him like vomit. But he didn't deserve to be lynched. That was not the justice Saskia fought for. Prince Stennis I, son of Demavend III, became the 17th king of Aedirn. He won the hearts of the people. They saw him as the hope of the nation. The realm, ravaged by war, needed a ruler sensitive to the plight of his subjects. King Stennis I was just that. I see you took care of the guards.
I hate those monastic curs.
They're not paragons of virtue, true, but they were just doing their job.
Then they didn't do it well enough. Can we go now?
Yes, let's go.
Time to finish it.
Whether you like it or not, John Natalis, Temeria will be divided.
For the good of the entire North.
The united forces of Kedwin and Redania will end the fighting among the Elder Houses and secure peace from Gorsvelen to Ellender. At present, Temeria is starting to resemble the Pontar Valley.
Which, if I understand correctly, is currently controlled by Edern.
You are mistaken, Radovid. Vergen is free.
Free? What precisely does that mean?
Lawmark is not Kedwin's, and Edern no longer controls Upper Edern. We have rejected Prince Stennis.
King Stennis?
And handed King Henselt's army a resounding defeat.
Your forces, my dear lass, are nothing but a motley array of rebellious peasants and elven brigands. Sooner or later they will need to swear allegiance to someone, or they will be defeated and dispersed.
The peoples of the Pontar Valley will swear allegiance to me, Queen Saskia. As an independent realm, we hereby speak in favor of reconstituting the Council and Conclave.
You're a lovely girl, but you issue from common stock. The sole crown you are worthy of donning is a wreath woven of wildflowers. Redania will recognize no other coronation.
In that case, you must choose, King Radovid. Will you carve up Temeria, or march on the Pontar Valley? Henselt, last of the line of the unicorns, has sworn to recognize the Pontar Valley as a free realm. Philippa Eilhart witnessed it.
Philippa Eilhart is in my dungeon, awaiting trial for treason.
She was in your dungeon, Radovid, but is no longer. She will sit at my side in Vergen as my royal advisor.
Everything we did in Vergen will be in vain.
There's still hope. We have the dagger.
To the matter at hand. The document describing the charter of the Council and the Conclave is, as previously ascertained, an exact copy of the charter found in the ruins on Thanet Island. The more important question relates to the Conclave and its power to designate royal advisors. Today, randomly chosen mages and sorceresses reside at many courts. However, in the time of the previous Conclave, such persons were carefully chosen.
Why shouldn't we pick our own advisors?
These individuals bear great responsibility, Your Majesty. The Conclave needs to be certain they are competent.
And that they will keep the Conclave's interests in mind.
Obviously, sire. The Conclave's chief interest is the well-being and prosperity of the northern kingdoms. The document has been signed by every member of the Conclave we have proposed, as well as by all but one of the designated advisors. We await only Sheila de Tanseville's signature.
Without our royal seals, you should be allowed to designate advisors to cowherds at most.
That is true, Your Majesty.
My kings, before you sign this document, please hear me out.
Excellency, with all due respect, this matter does not concern Nilfgaard in the least.
I am here at King Henselt's bidding. Will you deny my right to speak?
What is the meaning of this?
This man tried to kill me this morning. He attempted to take an Imperial envoy's life in your lands.
I presume he was interrogated.
He confessed. Foltest and Demiven died by his hand. He also revealed the identity of his employers.
Sorceresses. They helped me with my assassinations. Speak on. The Lodge of Sorceresses sought to remove those rulers who acted against the will of mages.
Lodge of Sorceresses?
We have compiled a list. Philippa Eilhart, Margarita Loantil, Triss Merigold, Kira Metz, Francesca Findabair, Ida Amin, and finally, Sheila de Tanzaville. To my deepest regret, 2 Nilfgaardian sorceresses, Asira Varanahed and Fringa Levigo, were also members. The Emperor will deal with them accordingly.
Our queen will have to powder her nose.
Your Majesty, what's the meaning of this?
Arrest them all. Your document will have to wait, Honorable Sorceress.
You have no right.
Surrender now if you don't want another massacre, this time in Loch Muin. A court of law will reveal the traitors.
We're trapped! I can't get through! Sheila! You must get Sheila!
Stand back while you can. You can't stop me. Not you, not anyone else. If I have to, I will kill you.
I've already managed to stabilize the portal.
You've got nowhere to run. Sooner or later, somebody will find you.
I prefer to leave on my own terms.
Where's Letho?
Sir Synthesis will tend to him, as she will to all the fools who get a hard-on at the mere thought of burning a sorceress at the stake.
Where is he?
I don't know, fool. I've been looking for him since Foltest's assassination. Letho cheated all of us. We were deceived by his dull face and sluggish stare. Don't you understand? The Lodge sought a way to get rid of Demavend, that's true. He was a weak, volatile king. Edirn would eventually choke to death under his rule. We chose the lesser evil. He had to be eliminated, and Letho happened to be at hand.
Foltest? Henselt?
We had nothing to do with that. After assassinating Demavend, Letho used our gold and magical support to find and meet iorveth. The elf was to help him hide until the matter blew over, or so I thought. The Lodge did not condemn Foltest to die.
Then who did?
Nilfgaard. Letho is the king of liars and emperor of traitors. From the start, he worked for the glory of the great sun and the white flame dancing on the graves of his foes. He lied to everyone. Me, iorveth, your stupid little Triss, and you.
Got any evidence?
A moment ago, I received a message from the Lodge's agent in Sintra. The Imperial Army is on the move. They're fording the Yaruga now. Do you think the North can defend itself in the current situation? And can you count on another miracle at Brenna?
I don't know, but you made it all possible and you'll answer for that. The stigma of treason is yours for all time.
We shall see. For no one will leave this city alive. No one will tell this story. Philippa controls the dragon, As soon as I disappear, it will turn the city into a flaming tomb. We may have lost a battle, but the war is just beginning. You, however, shall not take part in it. This is your end, Witcher.
Farewell! Something's not right. The diamond! Someone replace the diamond! This one's flawed! I'll be torn to bits! Geralt, remove it! The diamond! Remove the diamond! I'll give you anything you want! No! No!
I think we can skip the niceties.
Yeah, unnecessary.
Yet I sense your readiness to fight on.
We were fighting to the death just minutes ago.
I understand. I believe I owe you part of my treasure. Family tradition and all.
No need. Can you make it back to Vergen?
I think so. I've always healed quickly in the past.
You know, you're not the first dragon I've talked to.
You met my father, Villain Trettenmerv, known also as Borg 3 Jackdaws.
I thought he couldn't have children.
He thought so as well.
Polymorphing. Did you get that from him?
Just a hint of it. I can only assume one human form. He could transform into anyone he liked.
You also don't have his quickness and reflexes, and I don't think I saw a single golden scale on you.
Nor do I have his moustache or paunch. Sorry to disappoint you.
Professional curiosity. Forgive me. Where is Borg these days?
Who can know that? He taught me what he thought I should know and flew off yonder. It's the dragon's way. And he gave me my name.
Synthesis, if I heard right.
I prefer being Saskia.
Can you tell me what'll happen to iorveth now?
Let's be honest. He's a terrorist. I'll not lie about him nor whitewash his deeds. He must earn respect on his own, and perhaps, a few generations on, humans will forget.
Did you intend just to use him?
Geralt, iorveth has killed more humans than you've eaten chickens. He's not one to be used. It's not that simple. He came to believe in me and knew from the start what we were fighting for. He made a choice.
Sure you don't know what I'm talking about? Those baby doe eyes, that intense misty gaze, the pouting.
We shared a cause, fought side by side.
iorveth did and would do anything for you. Question is, what are you prepared to do for him?
There will always be a place for the Scoia'tael in the free Pontar Valley. As to iorveth himself, I've heard many say crude things about us. Thing is, as long as I can remember, I've found dwarves fascinating. Must be a dragon thing. And though preferable to a human, an elf would be a compromise.
Philippa took advantage of the chaos and escaped. Think she could reveal your secret?
It's nothing I can control. I don't intend to pursue her. We may or may not meet again, but I shall leave that to fate.
She's not one to give up easily. I think she'll come after you again, try to take control, as soon as she's done licking her wounds.
I shall be cautious next time, and I know much more about Eilhart than she would ever wish.
More than she would wish. Interesting.
I obeyed Philippa, but I was not blind. We were close, and Eilhart could not keep all her secrets concealed. I know her weakness, something that can destroy her in an instant.
Valuable and dangerous knowledge.
Precisely why I'll keep it to myself.
Sheila and Philippa have lost. The Lodge has been defeated.
That's good, though temporary. I fear we shall hear of them again.
You know, Emir's armies have crossed the Yaruga.
I expected as much, as did Philippa. We defeated the Adernian lords and Henselt. With a bit of luck, we'll defeat the Emperor as well.
Time I was on my way.
You shall always be a welcome guest in Vergen. I underline guest.
Don't worry, I'm only ever a visitor.
I know. Sometimes I wish I could see the future, like my father.
And sometimes it's better to be surprised.
Farewell, Witcher.
Your handiwork, sire.
In the beginning, there was chaos.
What happened to Saskia?
She's alive. Wounded from our scrap, but alive. She impaled herself on a tree, and then I had to use that dagger. But she'll make it. Mountain air is good for a dragon's hide.
You're the most noble human I know, Gwynblade.
I'm no human.
I'm glad you reminded me. My hatred for the species abated for a moment.
What about Letho?
Strange thing. He sits in the Temerians' former camp. I believe he awaits you.
How do you know?
I saw him. He's got Triss.
Let's go. Tell me what happened here on the way.
While you were fighting Saskia, the city was staged to a bloody spectacle.
The players?
There were many. At first it was a hunt for the traitors, but it soon turned into a hunt for all mages. And there were a few skirmishes between Kedweni, Redanian and Temerian troops. Rape, pillage and murder. Not necessarily in that order. The pastimes of the Order's pious knights. And the regular troops soon followed. The kings, with their choice units, left the city just after the dragon attacked.
And the Nilfgaardians?
When we're done with you, you'll be a lump of whimpering meat.
Elf! Killed a non-human.
For the king! For Catherine!
Beasts! Bloody sons of bitches!
Will you be all right?
Yes, thank you. Leave me.
What happened here?
When the summit ended, we hid in one of the houses, but they found us. They cut off both my sister's hands so she wouldn't cast spells. But I managed to escape. They caught me here.
Let's go, Gwynblade. This is madness. Lochmuin has changed. That's what it looks like now.
I think I heard something.
Imperial troops.
Long live the Emperor! Long live the Emperor!
Die, Nordling!
nothing!
Finish your story.
Triss out.
Let him go?
No one dared stop him. I followed him. I think he noticed me, but didn't seem to care. Once the fighting died down, he went to the former Temerian camp.
Is Triss all right?
Yes. Letho defended her from marauders.
Stop, Iorveth. I'm going alone.
Why?
This is between the two of us. Take care of Triss until I return.
Your choice.
Mine, indeed. There's one more thing you need to know. Nilfgaard's armies have crossed the Yaruga. War is inevitable.
Vafail, Gwynblade. Don't get killed.
Farewell, Iorveth. If I don't return within the hour, find Saskia and leave without me. Are you all right?
Yes. He saved me from the Nilfgaardians, and defended me from the troops.
It's time to end this. Iorveth's waiting. I'll catch up with you soon.
Geralt, he knows a lot.
I know, Triss. That's why we need to talk.
Don't get killed, Witcher.
I won't.
Took you a while?
Is that bauble from Sheila's megascope?
Mm-hmm. My final prank. I switched the diamonds. The one in the megascope has a flaw. Minute. But just large enough to warp the teleport. The Emperor's magic theorists assured me the effect would be spectacular.
Oh, it was.
Good. Had she lived, she would have suffered more intensely and much longer. She helped me quite a bit, through naivety and pride. I would not have gotten far without her.
So, ready to lay your cards out on the table?
No matter the game, there comes a point when all the players need to show their cards. I love that moment. But first... vodka?
I only drink with friends.
What about old acquaintances? Eh? Recovered your memory yet?
Not entirely.
Remember how we first met?
Yeah, I saved your life. Couldn't think of a nicer way to pay me back?
Frankly, I couldn't. I mean, taking care of another man's woman, Yennefer. I can't fathom what you saw in her, but I suppose there's no accounting for taste.
The winter solstice 1270. Midinvern, the night of magic. Letho wasn't lying, the hunt had stopped. At the Hanged Man's Tree, the spectral riders selected from among those they had taken. Yennefer was among them. A wraith cannot be killed, only driven away. Every Witcher knows that. Yet the riders fell beneath the blows of our Witcher's blades. Crimson blood flowed from under their dead men's armor. We could not kill them all. They were simply too many. A stalemate. He was different from all other elves. There was no shame in his gaze. He had never suffered persecution. He had endured no massacres. Humans had not taken his land. This elf was not of this world. He was an invader. We struck a deal. My soul for that of Yennefer. He agreed without hesitation.
Back with me, friend. Got the feeling you left for a minute.
Memories. I remember the Hanged Man's Tree and the Wild Hunt. I remember the exchange. Me for Yennefer.
So, cards out on the table. Unless you chase me all that way just to kill me.
I chased you for lots of reasons. You owe me some explanations to start with.
Let's say I do.
Care to tell me what it was all about?
Kill as many rulers as we could. Lay the blame on the sorceresses. Breed chaos. Prepare the North. Soften it before the invasion. And you know what's incredible? We could not have imagined more fertile soil. No matter what the war's outcome, the northern monarchs will accuse one another. Pursue their God-given rights. Seek vengeance and be at each other's throats for years to come. The North resembles a whorehouse on fire, as your friend Dandelion would say. She was feverish for several days, delirious, in agony. We thought that was it. She was on her way out. Somehow she recovered. But even then she was disoriented. Amnesia like you.
What then?
Well, the woman turned out to be quite a character. Throwing tempered tantrums, trying to seduce orcs. Trying to drive a wedge between us. After you so nobly sacrificed yourself, we thought it'd be dumb just to leave her somewhere. She wouldn't have survived more than a month. The whims and vigor of a duchess, but she was just a sorceress with no memory. We were in the heart of the Empire. And as I'm sure you know, Geralt, in Nilfgaard, mages who behave like that either drop their bad habits quickly, or are drawn and quartered by horses in the middle of Victory Square.
So I heard.
So we set out, wandered through the provinces. Everywhere we went, she got in trouble and we pulled her out. And then one day they captured us. The Imperial Secret Police. Me, Og, Sarad, and Yennefer.
Imperial Secret Police?
We were separated, and they questioned us. Long and thoroughly, but it was uneventful, no violence. That's how I met Vatia de Rideau, and a couple of weeks later, the Emperor himself. Me. A simple witcher.
What happened to Yennefer?
I don't know. Never saw her again. The Emperor offered me a mission in the Northern Kingdoms. As for Yennefer, I had the feeling she was somehow important to Emir. As I see it, they learned of the Lodge from her. Those Imperial spooks have their ways. All I heard is that Vatir had his men watch Yennefer closely throughout the time she was at the palace. Then we went off to slay the kings of the north. That's where my knowledge ends.
So she's in the Empire?
She was when I left.
I'm done talking. Let's finish this.
Want to fight?
Any vodka left in that bottle?
A swig apiece. Here. The Imperial army is probably crossing the Yaruger as we speak. Pure pandemonium will ensue. The North's finished. Time to go south, where the good life awaits.
You're a fool, Letho. Both you and your Emperor are forgetting one thing. Misfortune brings people together. Very shortly, the North could be united like never before, thanks to you. But that's just not my concern anymore.
I'm not your foe. I never was. Let me walk away and I will. You'll never see me again. Force me to fight, and this time I'll kill you.
I've learned all I wanted to know. I can feel the memories coming back. Your death won't change a thing. Go where you will.
Just like that. No threats. No words of wisdom.
Are you going or not?
Farewell, Geralt.
The Witcher had traveled far and wide in search of the Kingslayers. Along the way, he had met both the righteous and scoundrels, Bernard Laredo amongst the latter. Laredo sold Flotsam to Kedwen and scattered the local non-humans to the four winds. Flotsam became a military base. Its civilian population was resettled. In Edirn, the Witcher witnessed Saskia the Dragonslayer achieve a great victory. The Pontar Valley, previously Upper Edirn, became a promised land for outcasts who dared dream of freedom. Even sly old Zoltan Chive came to believe in this land of bliss. Yet dark times approached for the architects of the New Order. Dark clouds had been gathering over Temeria since Foltest's death. Stripped of its king, the land was like a rich cloth which nobles began to shred. These minor scavengers, however, scurried off in fear when true predators reached out for their prize. The summit at Loch Muin sealed the fate of Foltest's realm, when Radovid of Redania and Henselt of Kedwen divided it between them. A tempest descended on the north, at least partly the work of manipulative mages. It seemed the turmoil in Temeria, Edirn, and Kedwen would benefit them most. Common folk turned against sorceresses and all magic freaks, witchers included. Castles that had hitherto welcomed mavens of the magic arts now shut their gates to any who sought shelter there. A witch hunt ensued. It was a time of great uncertainty, of rape accomplished by royal decree. Yet as troubled as the day seemed, we, who had in some way shaped the world's fate, finally received some respite. Zoltan resumed the quest for his beloved's hand, and I laid my head in the laps of the muses. Who could have known this tempest which had ravaged the north was but a harbinger of darker days, and the preamble to an entirely new tale of Geralt of Rivia.